I don't know how the audio is going to be.
Neither do I.
We don't know how the audio is going to be. We don't know how the audio is going to be.
Guys, this is our first time doing this. No, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first time doing this. I have no idea how the audio will turn out. There is no sound mic. It is just me, Ethan Locker, and my partner,
Eric Ward.
And that was not planned to be synchronized, but we're going to roll with it.
My name requires stereo. All right.
Well, Eric, tell everyone what we're doing here and what are we looking at? That's a loaded question, folks. Be prepared.
Well, this is the World of Imago, first and foremost, if you can't tell by the name back there. But what is the World of Imago? It's a world made up of paper, basically, paper boards, and we call it parchment in the World of Imago, which is any flat material that can be converted into a three-dimensional shape. That's parchment, and that's the World of Imago and what it's made up of. Now, how did we get here? Is that the next question?
Yeah.
Okay, the long answer is my mom gave this 6-year-old boy a book on origami, and a fate of this artist was sealed from there on out. And I won't tell you how long that story's been playing out, but it's brought us to a career built around constructing, engineering, designing paper products, packaging, POS displays. But in all that professional stuff, I've worked with many entertainment companies, including Lucasfilm in particular, and I've been watching what they do with their, what we call IP or intellectual properties. And in the process of tinkering over the years, I came up with a character by the name of Pago, who's kind of our main dude in this world. We follow his adventures, but then we also follow the adventures of his female counterpart, Liaga, and there's a whole cast of characters that lives in this world, all created, both the world and these characters, by a spirit guide who uses the superpower of imagination, and that character is referred to as the Master Imaginator. You might think of that as the equivalent of a child playing in their bedroom, or an artist toying around with an idea, or an engineer thinking about that next incredible structure or infrastructure, or a scientist looking at the molecular structure of the next cure. They're all interrelated. They're all forms of practicing critical thinking skills, and that leads us to building a business around all this that has a motto: give to creativity, foment a riot in the imagination. And this is all about, at every age, exercising the superpower that truly resides in with all of us. It's not some fictitious superpower, but it's the real thing we all have, and it's called imagination. So our company is about stimulating that, and everybody can come to it, play in it, read about it. We've got a whole rich set of stories, both in graphic book form and illustrated novel form, that are in development and soon going to be out there for you guys to enjoy and immerse yourself in this world, along with what we call creative art venture projects, which are your ability to build these actual fully 3D articulated characters that spring from this world and the stories. So, is that the crib note version?
Yeah, that checks off on a lot of interesting ideas, and how you've been able to turn what was a passion from such a young age into a talent and then a career. So bringing these ideas to life is taking it a step further, thinking in layers, thinking of products, like you call creative art venture projects. And a great place where we're going to debut a lot of these projects and the brand for the first time, we're excited to announce, is LA Comic-Con. So Los Angeles Comic-Con on my birthday, October 4th to the 6th of this year. We're in 2024, folks. And we're going to showcase, everything that our minds, bodies, and souls have been so passionate about creating for the world. Talk to us about Comic-Con. What are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited on many levels to share our world. What you see here is the booth we're sitting in right now, that you will, if you come to LA Comic-Con, this is what you will see firsthand. You'll be able to come and immerse yourself in some bits from the world. This is just a small sampling of possibilities. But that I'm excited about because, we over the years we've been doing these small things like Maker Faire events where people can come and build a scrap character or a Pago character. But it's very small, very sort of time concentrated periods of 15 to 60 minutes doing that. So at LA Comic Con, oh my goodness, it's reported that there's going to be over 100,000 people attending this event. So we're going to get a lot of exposure, and yeah, just which allows us to really share this world. And hopefully, we're going to have a whole bunch of scraps for people to walk away with. And
Were you talking about trash?
Scraps.
Scraps.
No. There is a character who is wonderfully made up from little bits of scrap. And this little character, you will discover, this character's story becomes an immediate hero in saving Liaga up here in a wild, crazy story that you will get when you get your little creative art venture project that contains scrap, all the parts, all the scraps that make up scrap, into a fully 3D articulated character. And you can use that character for your own little animation story if you want. They're fully posable. But Scrap is kind of a dog-like character, little pint-sized hero who saves Liaga from the horrible disaster that's befalling her and her Foldentuck clan. And you're going to hear some terms and names, maybe, that you can only eventually learn by reading about the stories, going to our website, where you can get bits and pieces of what's going on in this world. And also eventually we'll have a newsletter.
Well, pretty cool preview that we're getting from what will happen at Comic-Con. This is the booth. This is going to be a nice walkthrough of our quarter scale model, which is in life-size, full-size form with this arch and with our characters that we mentioned. Creative art venture projects is a term coined by Eric himself, and it talks about how paper folded into 3D can be built, decorated after you construct it with a bunch of paint, colored pencils, watercolors. You can put glitter on it, you can glue some stuff, but it takes no fasteners to assemble. And then after that, you get to customize it however you want. And then after that, the fun doesn't stop, but you're able to express your imagination. You could come up with storylines of yourselves. You could tie them into your own thoughts and your own joys. So it's a way to relate with our products more so than just buying a plastic toy. Ours is sustainable with recyclable materials, and it can have a little bit more emotional attachment to the users. So really excited.
Because it truly is something you create. I mean, we're only giving you sort of the starting points of structure that's already pre-cut, pre-scored, so all you have to do is use your mind and your hands to put these characters together. Yeah.
Mind and hands.
They do go together.
So one thing that I think most people are curious when they first see this world, it's white. Tell us why everything is white.
Well, if you think in terms of the blank canvas and the fact that there really are infinite shades of white, first off, but white also has the ability to accept light and play of color from light. So, you can express, all kinds of emotions, all kinds of sensibility, just ideas and what you apply to that white surface. So you can paint, you can draw on it, you can, like you were saying, glitterize it, do whatever you want to make it into the world you want that reflects you. But this is the structure that you come to. And then from there, it's about your empowerment, which is imagination. And you can also think about how just putting light. So we have, for example, light shining and giving a lot of color to the Capitol Castle behind us. And a lot of interesting things in the stories from the World of Imago happen in that building. It's the intrigue of politics and, the class of cultures and tiers in society, all kinds of things play out in this building, in the story world. And that's just some of our ideas, but the whole premise, like we say, is to give to creativity, more importantly, to foment a riot in the imagination, your imagination. And that's why we really don't get too busy with putting graphics on these surfaces. We're leaving that open for interpretation. I think there's a lot of fun that can be applied, once you have the structure built.
Wow, that's beautiful, because it's potential, and you have the freedom and liberty to express yourself and use our medium as an outlet for whatever you're feeling, and however big your personality wants to shine with it. So you could see just a couple of splashes of color on the surface, and the white starts to dance.
That's a great way of putting it.
Really beautiful.
Yeah. So we've talked about the world of Imago, but there is energy, human energy behind it. We've talked a little bit about mine and that 6-year-old kid learning origami and having this creative career. But how did you, Ethan, come to this world?
I was brought to it by my own intuition, thinking about how I could elevate my event experience, because at the time I was organizing music shows, and it was my way of curating experiences and showcasing my creativity through collaborating with a lot of different artists, painters, to produce some like one-of-a-kind events. And I needed to elevate my game. So I was searching for something. I didn't know what, until I walked into the World of Imago's exhibit booth at the STEM Makers Fair in Los Angeles about 6 months ago.
Yeah, I know the date, actually, April 6th.
April 6th. And a lot of life has been sped and lived in these past 6 months for me to be here and communicating this idea and being so thankful to call you a partner.
Yeah.
And at first I walked into the booth, as many people will do at Comic-Con, and I saw some of these scale models. And I asked the probing question, you want to see that in life size? And of course, Eric, with his go-getter mentality, the first thing he says with the can-do attitude is, yeah. And then we started doing it. So our first project together was on top of a mountain in the Santa Barbara area, and we built an arch. And it was about 13 feet?
Yes,
Oh, we
13 feet in height.
Yeah. And it was an installation that just looked beautiful out there in the nature landscape. It stemmed from the Pago build system, which is how a lot of these pieces and parts are constructed, with an engineering background and very keen architecture with sacred geometry involved. And yeah, it was Eric's first time like applying some of these designs with like the entertainment industry, and like me being big on hospitality and our kindred spirits, just being able to dance together. It was a beautiful collaboration, which led us to do it again and again. So we did it at a lake, and it withstood 3 days of dancing, music, fun.
And wind.
The wind, it was battle tested too. We had a lot of elements out there. So we've definitely pushed this material to its limits, and we were able to be very confident the third time we did it at Los Angeles pop-up in Venice Beach, and we built out this grand size arch which stood about 14 feet tall, and it was beautiful. Side tangent, but that was how I was brought in, through my own go-getter spirit and entrepreneurial mentality, and
Creative spirit. Let's not forget that. Highly creative spirit.
Yeah. And when you get two creatives that can just bounce ideas off of each other, it leads to doing some pretty special things. So now I'm really happy to be on Team Imago and showcasing what we got.
And in some ways, to answer your question about, what our participation in LA Comic-Con is about, our really a bigger debut, but it is a debut of our partnership, and that creative, can-do, spirit that manifests in things like this, and hopefully it's going to infect other people with the same can-do creative spirit, because that's really what we're trying to do, is pass along and encourage other people's creativity by playing in this world, and then hopefully it sparks them to then explore their own various versions of how they see the world. And this can be applied to any kind of profession, any kind of work, any kind of play, and it's not limited to just kids. It is about ages 9 to 92, really. That is something that we should be able to do throughout our life. We start out very intuitively being creative, and then unfortunately a lot of us seem to get it beaten out of us as we grow up, as that's not how you get through life, when in fact we have something we love to say about the spirit behind this. It's to get busy making art, not war.
That quote really hit home.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say those words without getting a little bit of emotion coming up around them, because we obviously we're creating a world of play, but we're doing it in a human world where there's a lot of seriously bad, questionable things going on around us, most of which seems out of our control, out of our realm of influence. Yet, if we use ourselves as examples by exercising our creativity, maybe more people will follow along. That's a bigger picture hope in putting forth this energy. But, yes, we're making a business of this, so we're not shy about, we are entrepreneurial. We want to put a business out there, but hopefully along the way in doing business, we actually spend some energy putting out and inspiring other people to flex their creative powers, their imagination, and make art, not war.
We welcome you to the World of Imago. We cannot wait for you guys to see what's in store. And I cannot wait to check on this video footage to make sure it's still recording, because we just gave some really rich concepts, and my fingers are crossed that we got it on the first take and we don't have to redo this.
As professional as we are about this, complete amateurs. But that's okay. We'll get better at it, we promise, with practice, and hopefully our team grows and we'll have some help coming rescue us out of this.
And it's okay. It's okay to be an amateur, and it's more than okay to try something new. It is encouraged here, and we want you guys to all branch out and find new exciting things to keep you invested. So
yes, flexing those superpowers called imagination.
all right, lovely.